And that's really, really good for a man with 4 wives, yeah, but at the same time though, if you try to if you do that with him first, he's definitely going to do it with you back. Yeah, I find that if I'm just kind of this is how I'm feeling, and this is now, they talk a little bit softer and kind of quieter, and I use very non-aggressive words, and he kind of it takes him out of that warrior mode, and it turns into the gentle husband, 'cause he has that great side too. Hey friends, it's Kody from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, May 3rd, 2024. I hope everyone's having a good day. I have been wanting to make this video literally all week, but I keep getting distracted. It's been a very busy week, and I got these clips from someone in Australia. They recorded it on their phone and then sent it to me of an episode of Sister Wives from way back when Christine and Kody went to Galveston, Texas, and did marriage therapy, and it was for their anniversary, and the two of them they built this rock tower. And Christine was super upset because Kody wouldn't focus on just her and him, and he kept trying to build a rock tower that encompassed the whole family, and he wasn't thinking in the scope of just their relationship, and she felt like he had been kind of bulldozing her, running over her, not listening to her, steamrolling her in a way she, I guess, felt a little bit bullied by him, that she was just going to do whatever he was going to do whatever he wanted, and she just had to go along with it. I want to build a house. Well, all right, so we build a foundation of family on 4 corners, a foundation of 4 rocks, my 4 wives, build a tower that represents your relationship. And I can see that Kody's going to build a tower that represents the family and that doesn't represent our relationship. And we're going to build a home. Chiston seemed to be somewhat, trying to take it a different direction. I just wasn't going to let her. It wasn't about Christine and it was about the family, the whole family, and that behavior by him basically resulted in her kind of submitting to him, submitting to the behavior. And so that episode, I think, has been one that a lot of people have never really understood, why go on a vacation for marriage therapy other than for a content for the show, and he rarely ever traveled with Christine. Otherwise, he did these glorious trips with Robyn, and with Mary they went to Mexico, and they went to California. And with Janelle and Christine, they never got those kind of trips literally ever, if that should tell you anything about their standing in the family. And Christine gets a therapy trip as a part of that episode. She was able to clip a part where Kody actually admits in this clip that he was bullying her. He admits that he has a propensity to be a bully of his wives, something that on this last tell all he said that they had a bullying problem in the family. He wouldn't allow Robyn and the kids to be around the other people, because the other people in the family are bullying Robyn, and because there's a bullying problem, he deals with it, he handles it, he handles being bullied by the family, and it's water off his back, right? Water off a duck's back, I think, is what he said. But he's not the bully. I actually have a clip of him admitting he's a bully, and I'm just going to share this with you, and this isn't going to be a super long video. So let's go decide that you weren't going to when he wasn't list, because you would make them 2 or 3 times, and he would keep doing what he was doing. So there was some of the old relationship. Here I know that I've railroaded a little. Yeah, it really came to really just a stark realization that I had just railroaded the whole thing. I had an idea, and I knew what I wanted to do. Funny thing, we've always had this mantra we tried to say nobody's in charge in the family. Nobody wants to say that the husband's the boss. Christine grew up and was basically told her whole life that in order to keep her man happy and to keep the family happy, that her job as a wife was to keep sweet, to not argue, to not complain, and just do what needed to be done to be her role within the family. And that's what she did for a very long time. But as the family grew, and as Robyn was added to the family, Christine learned quickly that by seeing a relationship dynamic between Robyn and Kody was very different than hers and Kody, and to add to that this was a relationship that was newer, and she had quote-unquote her Archie above Robyn, and yet Robyn was being very mouthy with Kody, she said. That it really shocked her when she saw that because she had never complained, she didn't know how to do that, she didn't know that she could talk back, she just did whatever he needed and whatever he wanted, and he just loved Christine. Because she did whatever he needed and whatever he wanted, Nancy is saying to her, listen, your old dynamic was that you just allowed him to do whatever he wanted, and you didn't fight back, and you didn't have an AR, you didn't have a point of view, you just didn't even have an opinion, you just let him do what he wanted, and you just went along with it. Christine said her lack of voice made her feel very powerless in the family, made her feel insignificant, inferior, and it made her feel like she couldn't have any of her own value, like she couldn't have her own identity. She couldn't express her own feelings, she had to just be fake and whatever Kody wanted. And it was draining, and it was exhausting, and he was demanding so much of her, but she wasn't able to express that she needed things from him. And then when she finally expressed that she needed things from him, he didn't help her. And that's where the dynamics broke down. So they're in therapy trying to help her reclaim her voice. And instead of doing that, she reverts back to just giving in to him. Which is what she's saying, and Kody's like, yeah, I railroaded her. That's what we saw on the United States version. This next part is what I'm going to show you. Is what he said, and this was the Australian version, so we used to say this thing with like, well, whoever wanted something the most would sort of ramrod or railroad the idea. So whoever had an idea that they really wanted, they push for it. And we let their energy carry us all to join them, and anyway, so I guess I kind of took off with that one. It's like I know what I want to do here, and I'm going to do what I want here. And Christine, you're going to come along with me, please. I have to admit that sometimes they use words that I literally do not understand, I've never heard before, and I've learned over time that this culture or this cult has their own dialogue and their own lingo, and they use coded language to say things that are really mean. And so when he says ramrod, I don't necessarily know what that means unless I look up what the terminology actually means. Like if I look at the definition, if I just heard ramrod, I don't know that I would think that that's bullying, but the actual dictionary definition of ramrod is to exert discipline and authority on to strike or injure with, or as if with a ramrod, to accomplish or put into action by force. Intimidation, to ramrod a bill through Congress. So he's saying, I'm ramroding this idea, and he's saying this with a smile, which makes it even creepier. He's smiling while he's saying, I am forcing her, I am intimidating her, I am telling her that this is what we're going to do, and you're going to come along with me and do it. And he wasn't listening to her, and he wasn't being overtly cruel while this was all happening. He was just not allowing her to have an opinion, and he was just forcing it to go his way. Regardless of what she wanted, he didn't care at all that she wanted to do something different. He actually didn't even care to have a conversation about what they viewed their relationship as. And mind you, there are different components here. You have a big family dynamic, but the therapy here was supposed to be about Kody and Christine's relationship, and Kody never wanted to talk about his one-on-one relationship with Christine, never wanted to deal with the one-on-one relationship. He never wanted to cope with their issues. He never wanted to of each relationship with, or specifically the one with Christine. He always wanted to speak about things with the bigger picture. He never wanted to look at each wife as an individual and each relationship as individual, and when one relationship would go wrong, he would just go to one that was easier. For instance, when he would have struggles with Christine or with Mary or whatever, he would run to Robyn's house. The same thing he did with the adult kids. He ends up pushing out Christine and pushing out Janelle and pushing out Mary because they're giving him kickback. They're not obeying him. They're not doing what he wants there. They're not allowing him to ramrod them anymore. And so he goes with Robyn, who he thinks he can ramrod, or she makes him think that he can be that she can be ramrodded. And so she manipulates him by talking lower and using non-aggressive words like, I showed you in the beginning of this video, so he did this with the wives, and he also did this with the kids. The kids that didn't listen to him and didn't obey him, they were just pushed out, and he went where it was easier, where he could ramrod. Got it? So here he is smiling and saying, I will admit to that in this family we will force and intimidate someone to do something that needs to be done, regardless of what is wanted. So if someone has an opinion that's bigger and an idea that they have the most enthusiasm around, regardless of what anyone else wants, they get that by railroading everyone to do what they want, and they build alliances and they build allegiances, and they have to get people to buy into it through whatever terms. Like, this is really what Robyn would do. She would ramrod through force. Even though she wasn't doing it by force, this is what Kody would do. So Kody's using language like ramrod when he really means, I was bullying her, bullied her into doing what I wanted. And I didn't care that she had an opinion, and that's what we're going to do. And he never really cared to see that Christine's view was that all she wanted was him to acknowledge her, but he never wanted to acknowledge her because he didn't love Christine, and acknowledging her would mean that he would have to acknowledge that he doesn't treat her well, or that she has feelings, or that she has expectations. And he didn't want to deal with expectations. He didn't want to work on himself. He wanted them to work on themselves, to conform to him. Kody's like the guy that's like, you do what I want. Do it now or else. And then once you don't obey, it's like, see you, bye. And then he'll blame everyone else for being the bully. I've learned a lot as I've been going back through these old clips. And they always will say that a bully is born right. So people do not become bullies because they are, nurtured and loved and adored. People become bullies generally because there's been neglect and abuse around them. And they've also witnessed other people be bullies. So if they see dad treating mom really badly, they will model that because that's their model of what it is to be in a relationship. If they see that bullying someone can get them what they want, they will bully. If they are bullied at home, they might bully others at school or their younger siblings. It's like a trickle-down effect, right? If there's a bullying problem in the family, it starts at the top, right? So Kody here is admitting, I'm the bully, but he says it with a smile, which is even creepier than I could imagine. So really in this clip, what you're hearing is, in this scene that we didn't get to see in the United States, was that Kody's admitting that he bullies Christine to do whatever he wants, and Robyn admits that she manipulates Kody by using a lower V voice and manipulates him through, whether it's a baby voice or an innocent voice that's not intimidating, like, oh really honey, like, oh that's so sad, but I really need this. She's admitting, I manipulate Kody this way, and Kody's like, I intimidate and bully this way. And that's in a nutshell Kody. And Robyn, I hope you enjoyed this, and I said this video would belong, so I'm going to take it from here. But Christine didn't deserve this. I'm glad Christine left. I'm glad Janelle's left. I'm glad that Mary has left. And at some point, I don't know, Kody should just be not with anyone. I would love to see him on an island by himself, maybe with Josh Duggar, and those two could just live by themselves on an island all alone with no one else around them. And then they could fight it out for who's the biggest jerk and who's the biggest narcissist. All right, you guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click on the bell so you never miss a video. Bye guys.